Hey, what's going on, guys? Finiky here, and today we are going to be tier listing all of the HCF servers in 2026. As you can see on the screen, there's really not a large selection, but we're going to go through these one by one, starting from the bottom and working our way up, and we're going to tier list everything. Starting off, we have FaithfulMC. And yeah, this link does not work, and after quite a bit of searching, I think this is a very old announcement. So unfortunately, even though it would be nice to have Faithful come back, Faithful is gonna have to go into the D tier. Okay, working our way up, DynamicPvP. A quick log on to the server. We have 89 people on. It is a Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, so not peak time, but you can see 3 different servers here. HCF is dead, kitmap is alright, and their survival is not what we're talking about. They actually have quite a few other things, including, I believe, a UHC kits, and nothing really pops out outside of the kits, which is not totally awful. I've done a little experimenting over the months. It's not awful. As decent players, the PvP feels okay, but the HCF, on the other hand, is, well, dead. There's really not much to go on about, and I'm not going to run all the way down road, but they have a purge every week, and it's fine. The issue comes with the kits and the super and legendary kits. So you can see here, this is full sharp 3 prot 3 diamond. Even the legendary kits, these are all sharp 3 prot 3. Well, that's a sharp 4. It's quite pay to win. It doesn't feel the worst. The partner items are kind of interesting. Oh, and I guess it is worth noting that Dynamic is actually a Spanish server, I believe. At least that's the majority of the player base is Spanish. It's fine. I wouldn't play the HCF. The kits is quite, it's better than nothing. They do have one of the AFK pools, which is something that is pretty decent. But it really just doesn't have the player base to deal with the super strong kits. I'm going to be putting DynamicPvP in C tier. The next server on the list is HavenMC. Haven has not come out yet. It is yet to be released. I don't really know what else to say. I haven't played it all. They offered me streamer to come play. The Discord seems slightly active, but it isn't. I can't go off of the gameplay at all. I really have nothing to do, like nothing to go off of for these guys. So anyway, with that being said, because I have no idea what is going to happen, I'm going to be putting Haven in the question mark tier, and next time I do one of these tier lists, hopefully, if it's still around, we will have a little bit of a gauge on how the server is. Okay, the next up on the list, we have AstralMC. Astral's been around for a long time, has a mostly Spanish player base, and they have a kind of a renowned kit map in a way. At least it's the biggest constant in the HCF community, is that the Astral kit map has the most players, usually more than any other kit map, and even outside of Start of the World, usually has more players than any HCF server. So that is something that is, you can note the kit map is quite popular. Normally I come online and the HCF has 10 people. My take on Astral has kind of changed in the moment. I do have more fun than not when I play. It's not awful. Now, I wouldn't spend all of my time here, but as you can see, I just made a small little base, and that's that. You start off with quite a bit of loot. As you can see, like, through one purge and opening keys as a basically no rank, I have quite a bit of partner items and sets and, like, loot. The combat doesn't feel the best, in my opinion. I feel like you're either going to fight people way below your skill level or way above. Everyone on here is either like borderline cheating or complete noobs. Yeah, here we go. We have the prot 3, sharp 3 kits, and they have all the partner items, and they have a whole ender chest full of pots so that you can't even kill them. Yeah, it's definitely, it's not unplayable, but sometimes it can feel like it. It's just kind of a roll of the dice based on what happens. I think the best way to sum up Astral is fine. I think it's playable no matter if you have no rank or top rank. Sometimes you'll struggle to have players, but sometimes you will have sometimes you'll have people, sometimes you won't. Oh, you know what? I guess I should. This actually is making my decision easier. Is the keys. Now I'm on kitmap to showcase this because I don't feel like going to spawn on the HCF. But yeah, the crates are crazy strong, and this is for HCF as well. Now this might not be a one-to-one, a one-to-one, but oh my god, these are really OP. I mean, like you have prop 4 armor, and I think it's prop 3 on HCF if I recall. And if that's your thing, that's fine, but I really don't like putting the best gear behind a paywall. I am going to be hesitantly putting Astral in B tier. If we want to talk about hit or miss, it's only right that we talk about CavePvP. Cave is very polarizing, to put it lightly. Cave has 3 main servers. They have their Fast, which is their HCF, they have their kit map, and they have their practice server Elevate. The player counts are fine. The HCF typically, I'd notice, drops down to 90 the day after start of the world, and anywhere from 20 to 40 after that point. I'm going to tentatively say that that number is a little bit inflated. I would hesitantly say that it's not going to feel like there's 65 people on. Briefly, I'll touch on the kits. The kits is fine. As you can see, I've played it. The gems system on here is not awful. I kind of like it. There's usually decent players on here. Nothing to go crazy over. It's usually about half of Astral. Sometimes it can go up a little bit more though. The HCF. If I show my playtime for this wipe, I have almost 24 hours. Now granted, I AFK'd a decent amount. My issue for this comes with two big things. Number one is the store. Now I'm not going to showcase the store for a number of reasons, but basically it is, in my opinion, very poorly organized, very poorly optimized, and just kind of a scam in many ways. Now, I will not talk on that too much because I think we all kind of understand pay to win. Instead of focusing on just the pay to win and the negatives, I'd like to mention a few positives before we get back into the negatives, because I actually have a few other things to say. Firstly, I think Cave has some of the best innovation, for better or for worse, in HCF. If I do FI Corn, Utopia, this is a monument near spawn where you basically get a whole bunch of loot, and it's interesting. Instead of looting a chest by like going through it, you click it and it pops open, and it's an interesting experience to loot. It's great for players without ranks and even people with ranks. When you have this much loot, you know, you feel kind of invincible, so you want to go out and fight, but the problem is there's really no one to fight. And if you are anything other than a full-size faction and you go out to fight, you get jumped by a 5-man in this case, and you just kind of can't leave your base. Now, that is a HCF problem, not just Cave, but it just, with this much loot, not being able to use it feels so much worse. Anyway, getting off topic, I do really think that Cave is not as good as I may have mentioned with the positives. Although the innovation is good, and if we actually look at the events, there's a lot to do. It all just feels very empty and not good to play. It does have the most players on its HCF on a typical day, but for everything they do good to make the experience unique, they do something bad to make it just awful and annoying and more tedious than anything. But when you have a store page with like at least 100 different things to buy and not being able to buy anything, you know, nearly anything, it just feels really bad to play. Next up, the rank situation, I guess, is the best way to say it. Obviously, innovation, you know, times change, you add another rank, whatever. As someone who's played this server for over 6 years now, I can tell you that the rank list, I don't know if I can show it in here, I can, has gone from Ravine being the peak to now we have Holiday, Cave, Custom, Custom Plus, Signature. Like every time I log on every couple months, like, you know, I won't play for a while and then I'll come back and all of a sudden there's another new top rank, a couple $100, and it just, you know, it just doesn't feel good. And while I do understand that a server owner needs to make money, it just feels so redundant. Speaking of redundant, they have like 3 different subscription-based, they have CavePvP, VIP, CavePvP Plus, CavePvP Premium. It just feels so uninspired, and really, it isn't worth your money, you know, to do anything. Even if you want to support the server, everything feels overpriced and unrewarding. You know, when you combine the not very fun to play experience if you're not a power faction, and you combine the annoying store page, and you combine the things that just feel a little sketchy, it just doesn't feel great. in a number of ways. I really shouldn't put it in A tier, but just because it simply has a community, I think it needs to go in A. This is the server, as of today, I would unfortunately recommend, just because it's kind of the only real option, because Dynamic and Astral don't really have the player base. Okay, quick disclaimer before I speak on Kiri. I am not being paid to say this. This is an honest review of the server. I will disclaim that I am a media rank on the server, and once the HCF fully releases, this will be the server that I main. But that is not going to affect how I speak on the server. This is a truly honest review. Also, I should also quickly disclaim that everything you see in this kind of walkthrough / analysis is currently subject to change. Obviously, like the skins of these people is like not a permanent thing. Going on kit map, it actually feels pretty good. The PvP feels nice. The top rank gets a special kit, which really isn't that strong out like compared to the normal. The classes all feel pretty good to play. They don't feel too strong or too weak. And everything else about the server feels nice. The partner items are very limited to just a few kind of like essential / fun ones. Obviously, you can notice here that I'm the only one online, and that is the biggest fault I can give them is their lack of player base. Now, as I said, the server's pretty much in beta, so that isn't too surprising. So, although I docked other servers, I'm going to be a little lenient since this is my list, and just grade the server, assuming it will have an okay player base. The HCF is pretty balanced. It feels a lot more like OG HCF. The crates are decently balanced, a little stronger than I thought it would be when I first kind of heard this more OG style, but as I'll show in a moment, they're not that bad. The grinding feels decent. The pacing feels really good even without a rank. And in the start of the world timer, or even your just default starting timer, you can get a base down and get started on some basic stuff. You know, since I'm working very closely with the team, I can tell you firsthand that the ownership group and the staff team are all very good. And they really care about this project. So like I said, biggest fault I can give them is their lack of player base, but let's get on to the crates. So the vote keys are alright. You get some decent loot here. You can vote 4 times a day. You get 4 vote keys. It's nice to get the tools early on, or the obsidian's actually surprisingly good. The starter keys, now these are what you get in a reclaim, but these are decently balanced. I know it definitely looks a little stronger, but it's mostly just tools for these. Top rank, you might get some armor, but that's pretty similar to how Viper was back in the day with Royale and Reforged, which is honestly the closest thing I can compare this to. If I do / partner items, there is no partner items on the HCF, and outside of the really strong, Citadel, Conquest, and Koth keys, it is actual all P1 Sharp 1, and if the map kit ever goes to Pro 2 Sharp 2, you will be able to make it yourself, something that is kind of not true on every other HCF server for at least as long as I can remember. You also get a daily reclaim, which is not too strong. You get some vals and a brewing key. This is the one thing I personally will mention to them. I really don't think this should be here. I think it's a little too strong and throws progression to pay to win, whereas like a set of armor or a looting or like a really good pickaxe, like you still have to go work. I don't like the brewing key, and that outside of the player base, I'll dock them for that. I personally don't love the brewing key, but everything else I think is balanced enough. And with the vote keys, it really doesn't feel that bad, as well as the AFK rewards. The only thing I can really say so far is that I'm excited to see what is going to come of the server. Gameplay feels great, if I'm being honest, both without a rank and with top rank. So I think everything being considered, I'm gonna have to put Kiri into the question mark tier. But we're going to revisit that shortly because I forgot about one server that I need to go check out. The last server I have to talk about today is Kohi. Yes, Kohi is back, kind of. A different team, I believe, took it on and made it a more modern version, so it is accessible through the latest 1.21 whatever. Apparently they have both modern PvP and old PvP. I haven't played either, unfortunately. They've only done a few beta tests, and I have not been able to catch them, but someone I talked to said that it didn't feel the best. Granted, that might have been sorry buddy, that might have been the modern PvP. I'm not sure. I really don't know. The Discord is quite big. It does seem like it has quite a lot of support behind it, but because I haven't played it, I really just am gonna have to guess. So I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna put it in C tier. With all of that being said, I actually slid around the tier list a little bit. I moved Kiri into S tier. It's not out yet, but I do personally think that it's going to be the best gameplay experience out there, at least for the majority of the community. I know some people are going to prefer the more fast-paced, modern style, and that's okay. I also moved Haven into B tier. I think it'll be fine. I don't know how good it will be. That one is the most subject to change because I have literally never played it, and I don't think anyone really has. And I also moved Faithful out of D into its own thing because it's not actually open, and I don't think it will ever open again. Although it would be kind of cool to come back. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.